You are live.
Hi, Facebook family and friends.
What's up, y'all?
I'm T. Hatchett,
GL right here.
and we are the Hatchett Chronicles.
Okay.
Let me see, we still gotta wait till 6 o'clock because ain't nobody gonna come in till 6 o'clock. Okay, so let's just do our public announcements. First of all, I just want to say that I apologize for last Sunday. I was in a bit of a rut. For people who know me, I suffer with depression. And we will have a show on that at a later date. Um, so I was going through something, okay. But my sweet husband was there supporting me. Um, that being said, public announcement, we are not licensed in anything. We do this from our experience, and the views expressed on this Hatchet Chronicles is just me and my husband's opinion. Also, what we got going on. What I got going on is I have 2 books in the works. One I co-author with my husband called From My Rib, so look out for that. The other one is Life After Bent Needs that I'm doing. I'm writing, and look out for that. I soon the Corona Chronicles will be out. It's an anthology that I wrote a chapter in, along with 15 other authors. My sister Author Valerie McAllister, is the head of that. That should be coming out soon. Um, Also, I am working on a project with the famous Miss Sabrina Johnston, who was a major artist during the late 90s, and she's making a comeback, and we are doing a film or a series that will be coming out. And she's also getting back into the music arena. She's working with my husband on a couple of projects.
Cuz, what's up?
Also, what else we got going on? Oh, that's all I got going on.
Well, I still got my beat tape circulating. That's still doing good. I still got the class coming out for beginners, beat makers. Still putting that together. It's taking some time, but I'm gonna have it soon. I'm gonna be teaching that class real soon. And then too, I switched from Thursday night to Tuesday nights, DJing live on Facebook. So I'm no longer on Thursday nights. I'm on Tuesday nights, and it's still a forlorn blaze, baby. Still a forlorn blaze.
And for those of you who we owe CDs to, we are working on them because we are doing CDs for that.
Yeah. So if you want CDs, period, just contact me through my inbox on Facebook or something, or my wife. Let me know you want CDs, or I'm doing flash drives too. So just hit me up and let me know what you need. I got you. If you want the mix that I'm doing the night of, you
hey,
have to be.
Sister.
Hey, sis, what's happening? You have to be specific about what mix you want. I don't only have the mixes that you see me do live. I have other mixes that I have also. So if you want CDs, just hit me on Facebook, and I'll be glad to get them out to you.
Also, my book, The Power of God, is still out. $15, $3 shipping to him. Also, my sister's web series, The Ladies of the Book Club.
Beautiful.
She has that out, plus her 2 books, the Book Club 1 and the Book Club 2, Carol's Return. That's out. Oh, she's working on a project. Ballard, your project with the race issue. What's the name of that?
Write it up in the comments.
You know what? Don't start with me today. You don't start with me today. Listen.
Hey.
Whatever. But can you tell me about? I'm trying to do the plugs here. So tell me about the project you're working on with about racism. And so.
Did you contact Mom?
Oh, no. So that's going on. And what else, baby? What else we got going on?
That's about it. We ain't really got too much going on.
Oh, I'm helping businesses get up and running. So if you need your business up and running,
it's called Tired. That's the project that Val's working on.
Okay, so my sister is also working on a project called Tired, about racism, and so look out for that because that's coming out soon. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I help businesses get up and running. I'm going back in that full steam ahead. So if anybody has, if they're looking to start a business and they don't know where to start, what's an EIN? They might ask questions like, what's an EIN? How do I get started? What if I don't have any capital? Stuff like that. I can help you with that. Hit me up. I am me. If you have my number, call me. Call my husband and let me know. Valerie says, accompanying book with my friend Tracy is called Skin. Okay, so they're doing a book and it's called Skin.
Okay.
So look out for that.
Snuff plugs.
Yeah, that's about all the plugs we have. So that being said, let's get to the subject. This subject also was it came up with my sister Valerie and I. We were on the phone, and so
it was inspired by my sis.
Yes, it was inspired by Arthur Valerie McAllister. Okay, so the subject is. You want to say it? Mm-hmm. Valerie said, in a documentary called Ty. Okay, so Valerie, you need to write everything at one time because. Okay, so she's doing a book called Skin and a documentary called Tired. And it all stems around the racism and what's been happening lately with the killing of black or people of color, not just men, it's been women, children, and all. So look out for that. Because they're working on that now and that should be coming soon. Okay, now to the subject. So our subject for the day is, what did your upbringing teach you about love? And the reason why this subject came about is because me and my sister, we were talking about, I can't walk and chew gum. That's why it's taking me so long to do. We were talking about, relationships and the great loves of our lives, and how we conducted ourselves in relationships. And so therefore, and what we were talking about is that the reason why we handled ourselves the way we did in our relationships is because it was something that we learned from our upbringing. Like, for instance, at one point in our life, we always was like, we're the head of our relationship. When it came to our relationship with men, it was like, because that's what we saw. My mother was the captain of her ship. She was in control. She made the decision. So because of that, when we started in relationships, we always thought, okay, well,
we're on.
Oh, okay. Why you do that like that? Like you're on, and that would be okay.
Look, don't trip on me.
That was rude. So anyway, so in our relationships, we always was like, well, we're the head of this relationship, and then we learned that that wasn't necessarily right or the way to be. So then it was like, okay, well, we're gonna give the man the chance to lead, but when he messed up one time, it was like, okay, see, that's why he can't lead, because see, he done messed up. That's why we gotta be in charge. And what we have learned in in our later years in life is that that wasn't the correct way to be. But because of our upbringing, that's how we conducted ourselves in relationship. You know what, Valley? Can we stay on the topic here? So that being said, we thought it would be a good subject to speak about that. And when we say relationships, mainly my sister and I were talking about man and woman relationship, but in relationships, period, whether there be friendships, whatever type of relationships you have, I think you learn how to love in that relationship from your upbringing. Don't you agree? Like, you know, you learn how, if you never learned how to be best friends, or if you didn't have best friends, or you didn't see your parents have best friends, then you wouldn't know how to conduct yourself with a best friend. Does that make sense?
It does. But, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. But then, too, just let me play the devil's advocate. Like, you could go off of a feeling.
So you don't believe that your upbringing?
I didn't say that. I just said you could go off of a feeling, knowing what's right. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me present the question to you. What did your upbringing teach you about love?
It taught me a lot. It taught me respect. It taught me morals. It taught me how to be mindful of what I say to women. Um, Definitely taught me about domestic violence. Um, I'm different. You can't really, you know, equate that to me too much. I mean, you can, but I learned a lot, and maybe someone, in my shoes didn't learn as much as I did. You know what I mean?
And that's the point. Because Valley said we were interested in knowing what people's upbringing taught them about love. Because do you feel like that the way that you are
the way that I was brought up, yes, it was a lot of love. It was a lot of love in my house.
No, but I'm saying the way that you conducted yourself in relationships, do you believe that had something to do with your upbringing?
Yeah, of course.
About love and the way you handled yourself when it came to love.
100%.
Hi, Mom.
1,000,000%. My mom had a lot to do with it. She had a lot to do with it. Actually, she is the reason why I treat women the way I treat women.
Okay. Did it was there a point in your life where as you felt like you learned something from your upbringing, but then later on in your life you was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have seen it like that? Like, because as I said, with like our mother was the strong person. So at one point with relationships, we was like, well, we're the head, we're in control because because that's what we saw. And then later in our life, we learned that, we didn't give that, we might not have given our significant others a fighting chance because we kind of like degraded them before they got a chance to show anything because we were too busy being the head or being in charge. Mm-hmm. And you look back on relationships and you wonder if maybe a relationship would have worked out differently, or you could have been better in a relationship had you not had that way of thinking.
Or doing something that you may have done because of...
then you look back on your upbringing and said, that was because of what I was taught. Like, there are people out here who believe, like, there are men who ruled their relationship with an iron fist because they saw their father rule.
Yeah. But I don't.
You feel like you got the best out of your
Of course. Because I don't curse at women. I don't do all of that. That's disrespectful. And my thing is do unto others as you want done to you. I wouldn't want somebody to call my mom out her name, calling her B's, and you understand what I'm saying? So I have to be mindful of what I say and what I do and how I treat you, because I have mom and I have sisters. You understand? And I definitely don't want. And karma, karma is different. It don't actually come back the way you may expect it to. So with that being said, I've just always been mindful of things that I said and things that I did in my relationships.
Valerie said, example, being raised by a dominant woman and inconsistent men didn't teach us how to properly love through respect and submission. For sure.
I can understand that.
For sure. So does that mean that we have, and I present this
to y'all broken. Get it together.
Whatever.
No, I'm only kidding.
I present this to Valerie and any other woman out there that might want to answer this that's listening. Does that mean, Valerie, we had daddy issues, what they call daddy issues? Do you think we had daddy issues? Look, relationships are partnerships.
That's right.
Yes, they are. But everybody did not like. It took me. I was very much up there when I learned. I think I learned partnership with you because it took two. Yeah, because it took two. Because in the early years, I tried to rule, be in charge. It was about me being in charge, and then later on, it was like, okay, I'm gonna let him be in charge. But then it was like, see, he messed up, so I gotta be in charge. So it took me.
And that's because you saw the way that your mom ruled with an iron fist in her relationship.
Exactly. And because she did everything. She was the captain. She fixed what was broken. If there was a problem, you went to mom, and sad as it says, but Dad was an effort, He was just like one of us. Not taking away nothing from, because our dads, they were there. They were there. But my mom was the brains of the operation. She was the thing that made the wheel turn. And when the wheel broke, she was the one that fixed the wheel,
fixed the wheel, filled it up with air.
Yeah, so
it was down.
So we thought it was natural for the woman to be in charge at one point, Partly daddy issues and partly the inability to balance strength and love and fear of being let down by. Exactly. That's what it was. You didn't want. You didn't want to be under the control or what society thought as control of a man. You didn't want him to have that power over you. But on the other hand, you didn't want to give him too much power because then he might mess up. So it was some battles there, within. until we learned ourselves.
But you know what though? Like my thing is your relationship is what you make it. You understand? So just hear me out. With saying that, excuse me, when you're in a relationship, regardless, I'm not going to say regardless, but when you're coming up, hey, Deidre, what's up? Cuz, um, I understand that, you know, when you're in a relationship, you have to work with who you're with for it to fit you. You know what I'm saying? I can't. That's why it's not good to like, if you get into a tiff with your significant other or your husband or your wife to go outside and tell people all about your business because they give you different information that doesn't actually coincide with what you two are actually dealing with. You understand what I mean? With saying that, I'm saying a relationship or marriage is what you make it. You know what you can take and you know what you can't. You know what you're willing to compromise with, and you know what you're not willing to compromise with, right? So with that being said, it's all in communication. You sit down and you explain that to that person and have them explain the same things back to you. You understand? Then that way the compromise, should be on both ends. And I think that, it should turn out okay. So Valerie,
Valley said you can make it what you don't know.
wait. We're going too fast because Deidre had two comments. What? Wait.
Communication, how you have good
Deidre said,
marriage.
no, it's.
Right now, I can't because everybody's going too fast. Okay, so Valerie said she said right. Deidre said right now I'm listening to y'all. I'll express my thoughts after y'all conversation. Valerie said inability to trust a man and how to navigate relationships without dismissing them for the next or better, and not believing in gender roles. Valley said you can make it what you don't know, have experience, or have the tools to work through. Deidre said communication, how you have a good marriage. Mom said when I got married, I was a kid, but even then I said nobody is the boss of me. I am the boss of myself. But a man usually will not allow himself to be dominated by a woman.
Yeah, you're right.
So, hey, my brother is on here. Todd is on here.
He might be.
Hi, brother. Okay, so.
Hey, Kiana. What's up, fams?
So, here's what I have to say to you. First, let me make this announcement. You are different. So, and also you're speaking from a mature level because what you said was right, but you're speaking from a mature level. So, and even if you wasn't, because you are different, your opinion is kind of like not the norm. Because when you're young, like mom said, when you're young, you have these ideas of what you think you know. And then you learn when you get older that what you, like I said, like with us, we thought, a woman in charge, so we gonna be in charge. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do because I'm gonna do what I want to do, And so,
did y'all move your head like that?
Yes, I did. And it was like, even little things like, if you're gonna be late, can you call? That's respect. But for at the time, it was like, oh, I got the call. I ain't no kids, I ain't got, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like you go through that phase. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to a certain age, it's like, it's a battle of who's supposed to be in control. Like mom said, most men don't, they feel like they're in control. And then with us, we were feeling like we were supposed to be in control. Mm-hmm. So it was like, let's see if I can trust you to do this right. And you do one thing wrong. Like, well, then we see a picture today and the woman was like, the man messed up a little bit and she was like all in his case, but she wasn't, it's like, that. It's like, we're waiting for you to do something wrong. See, I can't give you that. I can't put you in control. But see how you mess up?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we had that kind of, thing. And now at this mature, yes, I'm mature now. Yes, I know that a relationship is a partnership now.
But see too, you have to understand too that, with relationships and partnerships and all of that other stuff, which is right. But you got to understand too, when you're in a relationship or a marriage, so to speak, and both parties are spiritual and they follow the word of God, that makes it a whole lot different than the regular, normal dating thing, whatever you want to call it, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or go together or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a whole nother demographic when when the word of God comes into play. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It
And
is.
the older you get, you know that you don't want the same um, the same negative energy that you had in certain relationships before. Had you had those, I'm pretty sure we all have had negative energy in our relationships before. But the older you get, you tend to not want those things anymore. You want to do everything smooth. You want to have a smooth transition. You get 50 years old, you reach the top of the mountain. Now you're going down on the other side. So you want it to be a smooth ride instead of every 3 steps there's a speed bump and you flipping and falling all over stuff. So I mean, when I said that, make a relationship what you want it to be, that's part of it also.
But what if you don't know? Like you're saying, like at a certain age, yes, but in the beginning, you don't know what you want.
I mean,
You
in the
have
beginning you're
ideas
still
of what
learning.
you think
In the beginning you're
relationships
still
need to
learning.
be.
That's why you communicate. That's why you ask questions. That's why you ask those things that you need to know. That's why you speak on things that you need to speak on. Because a lot of times, with those relationships in the beginning, if you don't say anything, a closed mouth will never get fed. A closed mouth will never get fed. So if you have an idea or something that's on your mind and you never bring it to me, even now, just with us, if you have something that's on your mind and you never bring it to me, and I keep asking you what's wrong, and nothing, I'm okay, I'll be okay. When is that point where you say, okay, then well, this is the problem?
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Oh, they're talking amongst themselves.
Bro. No, who's Hassan? He said good teaching, bro.
Oh, Haas, what's good, bro?
That's Haas?
No, that's my man, Hassan.
Oh, okay. So here's my thing, and I totally agree with you, baby.
Heavy Head, what up, bro? Think of your brother.
Awesome. Hi, brother. So here's my thing. What happens if, like for instance, with us?
See, Kiana just said, I'm good for saying I'm okay when I'm not. See?
And you know what? That's a woman thing. I really believe that is a woman thing. And the reason why is because most of the time we will say, I'm okay, and get mad if the man leave it alone. And for some reason,
I don't understand that.
I'll be honest, I had to break myself out of that.
My niece,
because
Terri.
I'm good for nothing. And it took me maturity to be like, and for me to look in myself and say, okay, he can't read my mind just like I can't read his mind. So I can't keep saying nothing, and get mad if he leave it alone.
Because here's the thing. Once you keep saying never mind, then on our behalf, for a man's point, it's like, oh, all right, well, cool. I'm gonna leave it alone. I ain't even gonna mention it no more. Now that it starts to draw a wedge in between, because now it looks like, oh, he don't care. He didn't care anyway. You know what I mean? When it's like you're beating a dead horse.
Kia said, what we learn about relationships give you a script that you follow. It is important to evaluate what you have learned about love. That script is usually what you follow, good or bad. Exactly.
Good point.
Valerie said, but you bring what you know or don't know. If you are used to seeing chaos, that's what you might bring because you don't have a reference to good communication or a healthy relationship. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So, because you're speaking, that's why I said that you're different, baby, because for the most part, that's even with not giving men an excuse.
But Kiana, uh, okay. She said the reason why I don't say I'm okay is because I don't want to start
Confrontation.
confrontation. Okay, so if you don't want to start confrontation, then when is the point where you have to explain or you sit down and explain to your significant other, like, hey, something's wrong. This is not okay. This is not okay. And so when you don't do that, what starts to happen is you sit with that thing, and that thing it starts to become controlling over you, and then something else can happen another time, and that's just added fuel to the fire. So it's not good to hold those. It's not good to hit them with the oh I'm okay, I'm okay. It's good to sit down and talk about it and get it out, because that way it'll make the situation a lot easier.
Also, you can't. And I'm going to speak to that, Kiana, in a minute. Let me just say this. Deidre said, I believe that when we're both worshiping God, He has what we need to fall upon to help us have a happy marriage. The Bible was help in my marriage to not think the woman is in control. God made man first, so that alone has me in the mind frame that my husband has the head of the household. And that's how I learned too. However, there are people out here who have not learned that lesson yet. And so
you know what? Real quick, I'm sorry I'm going to cut you off, but I have to say this. That there are some women that are they they bold on the throne and don't want to deal with the word submit. When they say submit to your husband,
because
they don't understand what submitting to your husband means. So that's the first thing they off on a tank like what submit, man.
Because society has ruined us and made us think that words like black, words like submission are terrible, are bad words.
Yeah,
and so that is why we haven't followed the Bible to how we're actually supposed to be. And that takes a maturity and a learning and a trust and a believing in God. And there are relationships out here that don't have that. I want to go back to what Kiana said, though, because of the fact that I understand where you're coming from, but it's something that you really have to practice doing, learning how not to say, I'm okay, because it's still in you and it's still bothering you. That's something I had to learn how to not do. Say I'm okay when I'm not. And there's things still to this day. I feel like my husband and I have a over the top relationship. We have a beautiful relationship, but there are still things that I am actually still working on in our relationship that to help us. But one of the things that keeps us ahead of the game is communication. When I tell you that the communication, there would be a whole lot of issues in our relationship if it was not for our thoroughness when it comes to communication. And it doesn't matter what it is. I know that I can bring it to him. And it doesn't matter what it is with him. He knows that he can bring it with me. And that's what we do. For instance, a good example is, like I said in the beginning, I suffer from depression. And I went through that last Sunday. And it was horrible. And it really was, because I woke up in just this emotional fit where I could not do anything but cry. I didn't know what was the matter with me, because a part of depression is that sometimes you go through emotions and you don't even understand yourself while you're going through those emotions.
Cuckoo.
But if there's one good thing is that my husband might not have knew exactly how to handle it, but because, and again, back to what Deidre said, because God is first in our relationship, he did the best. The only thing he knew how to do. He asked me what was the matter. I couldn't tell him what was the matter because I didn't know what was the matter. And he prayed with me and he prayed for me, and he just kind of left me alone and kind of let me
go
through what I needed to go through. And then we thanked and praised God for it afterwards, that God gave us both what we needed to get through with what we needed to get through it.
At times like that, you can't rush a situation. You got to find out what the core root of the situation is, and then you could go from there. So, I mean,
Valerie said communication combats confrontation.
Right.
Stuffing feelings brings passive aggressive behavior. Exactly.
Right.
If you hold inside and you keep saying nothing, it's going to blow up. It's going to come out one way or another. And it might not be nice the way it comes out because you held it in so long, and there's going to be breaking points. The other thing to that is that if somebody is doing something to hurt you, they might not know it. And if you say nothing and don't tell them what the problem is, then they might keep doing that same thing over and over again because they don't know that it's something that's hurting you. So,
but that's why it's a good thing to communicate, man. It's a good thing to ask what's the matter. It's a good thing to explain what the problem is.
Kia said we don't learn about effective communications, emotions, awareness, etc. We often lack many of the tools needed to have healthy relationships. I think that we go by more what we see, because Kia, now I know that we were good in communicating with y'all, but y'all didn't go by what was communicated. Y'all went by what y'all saw, and what y'all saw was not healthy. I think it's more of what y'all saw than what was communicated to y'all. Kiana said, I understand that, but if you're dealing with someone who has totally changed,
because he is not
total charge on,
because he's not approachable.
Because he is not approachable.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and that might cause for outside help, or a therapist or something, or or we're responsible for our reactions to things, right? So if we have somebody, if you're in a relationship that somebody has, so like, let's say I do 180-degree change on you, and I start acting like my personality. Like, I don't act crazy anymore. No. So, and you have tried to talk to me about it, but it doesn't work. So where do you go from there? Is that charge for maybe we need a separation until we get it can come together? Or how would you handle something like that?
In a situation like that, you would do as much as communicating as you possibly can. And if there's nothing that you could do to get a positive response out of your
This is something to think about your happiness.
You need to seek counseling. You need to seek counseling. Your pastor or
what if that person don't want to go to counseling with you?
Then
it's time to take it to God.
You pray on it. You pray on it first before you take it to a counselor. I would, but I would pray on it first, and I would ask God to intervene. This is a union that you put together. And you said, if I ask, I shall receive. Exactly. So I'm calling you on that right now. I'm asking you to intercede in my marriage.
And life is short. Let me just say that. Yeah. Life is short. And you're supposed to be happy. And
no one should be able to darken your happiness.
Exactly.
You shouldn't give someone that much power to take your happiness away. And that's important.
Sometimes you have to.
I mean, sometimes you got to think of your own happiness.
Exactly.
At some point. I mean, I'm not gonna walk around pushing my lip in the wheelbarrow because I'm sad. I'm not doing that. If you wanna, flake out and do all that you want to do and change up and all of that, that's totally up to you. I've done all that I could. I'm going to continue to be the man that God expects of me. And I'm going to do what I need to do so that when it's my time and God say, that thing went kind of left, but I'm proud of you because you stayed the course. That's all I'm concerned with.
Kia said submission is one to another. Men are to submit to their wives as well. We are to serve, submit, and pursue one another daily. Valerie said, if
I don't see, but Kia, you know what, my niece, I love you and all that, but I don't submit to nobody but the Lord. She ain't never, man, what? I'm like, what in the hell?
If Valerie said, he has his crazy moments like me. I just let him have it. Valerie said, if he's not, I see you looking at me. If he is not approachable, I question what I am truly getting out of the relationship. Deidre said, stop, Frank. Mom said the word teaches us that the man is the priest of or head of the household, and in the other side, Apostle Peter said, treat the wife like you want to be treated, or like Christ treats the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Kiana said, my deceased husband has changed to the point that he pushed me away. Both of us have Christ in our lives. All I could do is pray to God and talk to him about what was on my heart.
And just ask him for relief.
And
true. Deidre said true.
True.
Val said,
Keon said I went to counseling because he didn't want to go. It takes two to tango, though. Mom said
not able to
Keon, not able to approach. That is borderline abuse because that is control. Exactly.
Yeah, got that right.
Valley said, go by yourself. But Valley, it takes two. And you can change all you want in a relationship, but the relationship is a two-way street. And if that other person ain't willing to change, then it's time to have some other type of conversation. Kia said, right, emotional abuse to mom. Valerie said, go by yourself. You might discover or uncover some things that help you to grow.
You could.
At the end of the day, my happiness and peace means everything to me. We decided to separate at the time of his death.
I'm sorry you lost him. Read why?
I did. I just read it. You're slow. Kiana said it was emotional abuse for her. And Valerie, I did read why. Because you discovered something that helped you grow. And you're right about that, Valerie. But the growing might be growing, maybe you have outgrown that person. Or,
that could very well be.
Or you might thought that person was the one and might not have been the one. Mom said I was talking to my niece, Kiana. That is who Kay is.
Okay.
And so I agree with everything that everybody has said. That it is a relationship is much better when you have a spirituality and you believe in God. But then we do have it out there that people haven't gotten to that point yet.
A relationship is great when you have communication.
Yes.
When you have communication, that makes everything else in the relationship worth having.
Yeah.
If you have communication. If you don't have communication, nothing's going to work. Period. That's just the way I see it. That's just my own personal opinion. Because if you don't ever say anything, no one will ever know what's wrong with you. If you don't ever bring it to the forefront, or you don't ever speak on it, or you don't ever, you know, let it be known, then nobody can read your mind. And with that being said, if you never touch on it, then it'll never be, it'll forever be buried. And that'll just be a thing that eats at you, you know, along with all the other things that may pile up with it.
And some relationships are just not meant to be.
That
And
too.
you can't force it. You know, what's that saying? If it doesn't fit, don't force it. You can't force something to be that's not meant to be. Regardless of what you do or what you believe. If it's not meant to be, it's not going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Kiana said something key.
It was so hard to show someone you love them and you don't get it back in return. Yes, it is. I know that feeling
That's
very
terrible.
well. When I have a partner who refuses to talk, that's a flag. It is. But here's the other thing that I wanted to bring up. You know, again, it goes back to the upbringing, because some people don't know how to say I love you. Some people don't know how to be a partner in a relationship. Some people don't even know how to talk or how to communicate and solve issues. For instance, one of my husbands, because he's not alive anymore, so I'll just leave it at one of my husbands did not, his upbringing didn't teach him how to love. His upbringing was very detrimental. And so all he knew how to do was rule with an iron and his word, and just rule and no explanation. Now, I learned a lot from him. However, what I learned from him, we had good and we had bad. I learned some good things about him, and then there were some bad things about him. At one point, my sister asked me, "What did you learn from him?" And I told her all the things that I learned from him, but everything that I learned from him, the way he taught it was a battle. Like, for instance, one of the things I learned from him was how to cook pancakes. My husband loves my pancakes. They are professional pancakes. But what I had to do to learn that lesson, he taught me how to make pancakes. But it wasn't that simple of teaching you how to make pancakes. It was a very big knockdown, throw out fight, very bad words between the two of us, food all over the place, broken dishes. And at the end of that, then he nicely and calmly showed me what the fire was going to be on, how to mix it, which could have been probably done in the beginning, but he didn't know how to teach. He did the best to his ability. Every lesson that was taught had to be hardcore, and it had to be a fight, and it had to be nasty, because that's
the way he was brought up.
That's the way he was brought up. So, but I didn't learn that. I didn't know that at the time in the relationship. I only knew the turmoil. It took me growing and me learning to understand that sometimes a man will only learn how to be a man from, a boy will learn how to be a man from a man. A girl will learn how to be a woman from a woman. And if you don't have that, then you don't learn that, then you have to learn. A father will learn how to be a father from a father. But if he doesn't have a father,
it's trial and error.
It's trial and error.
Val says, bro.
Not for nothing, but in my experience, many men find it hard to openly communicate. They are taught to be hard, hold it inside, be a man. Then he meets a woman that wants to talk. Really? That's a good point. Because that's why I said you're different, baby. Because society has taught men, oh, don't cry, be strong. But then it's like, be sensitive to your woman. That's kind of confusing. You tell men, you have men on Facebook that they put up a big deal because they're hugging or showing emotion to their grown son. And it's like, oh, that's soft. You can't do that. Or a man's not supposed to cry.
That's crazy.
But that's what society teaches men.
I mean, okay, I understand that, but at the same time, man, like, okay, it's you come into your own person, and because you're an individual before society, before anything. So with that being said, you come into your own person as you go along, and then you do what fits for you. If you want to hug your son and kiss your son, that's fine. And anybody that thinks it's weird or thinks that that's something, crazy or whatever, let them think that. I don't have enough time in my day to worry about what everybody thinks about me or the way I do things, because I'm gonna do what God asked me to do. And people just seem to, they don't get it. You know what I mean? And as far as what you said, sis, I understand that, men's supposed to be hard and stuff like that. But okay, what happens when, quote unquote, it's pillow talk time? They ain't always hard then. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it does. There is a point where they do break down and they will talk to you, no matter how hard they're supposed to be out in the street and stuff like that. This persona that they have and all of that. And I'm speaking from a man's standpoint. It's a point where they do break down when it's just y'all two. And, it's some things that, it's some things that he'll put to the side, because everything ain't about being hard all the time.
What is the reference point to become a man?
What do you mean? What is the reference point? I mean,
Here's that men and women in healthy relationships can also grow the opposite sex in manhood more. Yes, you can, but it's still trial and error.
Yeah.
Because I had to grow up trial and error. At Val, Mom said those are men who were raised in households where children did not have a say-so, no opinion.
Right. And Kia said you have to give men a safe space. I believe that, but see, then again, I'm different, man.
That's what I'm saying. You're speaking from if you look beyond your belief, there's not men that grew up with your, what do you call it? Men don't have the same thing. You're different. You are very different, baby. And men don't have that the way you. Valerie said they are trying to get the cookies. They soften up for cookies because most men are conquerors. Bro, I mean, behavior is learned.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, behavior is learned. I mean, and you do know how. I mean, but it's the same thing when you're in a relationship, because even if you didn't have that quote unquote talk with someone for them to explain to you what it should be, when you start to get to know another person that you're in a relationship with, then you should act accordingly. That's just my belief.
That's huge, and that's what I'm saying. And what we're saying is that,
I mean, but that's common sense. If you had a woman, right, and I'm just saying, I'm just generalizing this. If you had a woman, you're a man, you had a woman, and she didn't like to get slapped on the back of the neck, would you keep doing that?
If you thought you was that type of man that was in control and you was raised like that.
I mean, if you thought it was funny or something like that, but then
it didn't matter.
But then here's a point where she say, "All right, babe, that's okay, cool. I understand it was a joke and all of that, but no, I don't appreciate that."
There are men who feel like women's opinion don't matter.
Okay, so their opinion doesn't matter. So then my thing is, if that's the way it is, you don't need to be there.
Yes, Mom, but you said it's a part of their rear. Yeah, it is. And we're basically saying the same thing because they were raised a certain way.
Said what? What happens when you marry a man who's a mama's boy?
Well, see, there we go with words again. Because mama's boy might not necessarily be a bad thing.
Exactly.
Because so what do you mean, mama's boy? Because again, we get caught up in words just like submission. We have turned submission into a bad thing, and submission is not really a bad thing.
It's a great thing.
So it's what you mean. My husband, I believe he's a mama boy, but that's not a negative thing. That's a good thing because he knows how to treat his mother. And in knowing how to treat his mother, he knows how to treat me. So the respect that he gives his mother, I get as his wife. So
that's a fact.
You have to it depends on how you're looking at. Society has took words and made them a negative thing. And so to say mama's boy, society has made being a mama's boy a bad thing. Just like they have made being submissive a bad thing. But it's not, depending on how you're looking at it. Valerie said, Sandra Bowles, yes, Mom, but I read that. Mom said, grew up with Frank's mother. That is why he is the way he is. Exactly. My children was groomed to talk. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying about the mama's boy. When Kiana said that what happens when you marry a man that's a mama boy. I am glad I married a man that's a mama's boy because that means that he knows how to treat me. Someone told me this a long time ago that watch how a man treats his mother, then you'll know how he treats you. That's true in fact. Because how he treats his mother is how he's going to treat you.
That's exactly right.
Kia said there are women who continuously do things that men have communicated hurts them or they don't like. From both sides, you have to have a partner who values respect and values their partner. And that is true. That is so true.
And you are 1000% right about that, niece. And communication with that also is a key. And communication with that is also a key because, when you start to get into values and morals and respect and those kind of things, man, you only get into them as deep as you can because of communication. Because if you don't know what to respect about a person, then you have the right to ask, like, what are the things that you like? What are the things that you don't like? What will you put up with? What won't you put up with? Is your hair real? Did you buy it or did you grow it? Is it Indian hair or did you get it? Whatever. You need to. Communication is communication, and I'm just saying.
When you get mad,
yeah.
Can you bury yourself?
Did you ever kill anybody? Do you have life insurance? Do you like crabs? Have you ever had them? Crabs.
Is you silly?
Did you ever have crabs?
Yeah, okay.
It's a family show. My mommy's watching. Okay.
But we did ask those questions.
All right.
Did you have anything that
I need to know about?
Any problems?
Because I need to find out some things before this train leaves the station. I don't want to be halfway up the road and find out you got a rubber leg.
Kiana said it's a negative thing about mine is he put his mom before me and always ran to his mom instead of talking to me. He caused so much confusion between her and me. So here's the thing about that.
That's a different situation.
Yeah, because here's the thing about that. Everybody who knows me know that I am my mother-in-law's favorite. Okay. That being said,
Yeah.
We have a great relationship. However, and anybody who knows me know that my sisters and I are very close. However, here's one thing that I have learned. What's between everything don't need to be going running back to somebody. Even if I had girlfriends, I don't have a lot of friends, female friends, but I don't need to talk to everybody about what me and my husband go through. It's for me and him to deal with.
That's right.
So I deal with my husband. If I got an issue with my husband, this is who I deal with.
That's right.
I don't need to go run into my mother-in-law or to my sister or to we deal. We solve it. We get it together. Because being spiritual, I know that the only one that's supposed to be in between me and my husband is God.
That's right.
So if I have a problem with my husband, it's not for me to take it outside of our marriage. It's between me, him, and God. Really, when I have a problem with him, I take it to God first. And then I go take it to him. So that running to, your mother or your sister or your cousin or your best friend, we don't do that. Because
what happens when you do that is you get people to start forming their own opinion
exactly
about you, about someone, and those opinions could very well be wrong. Because in any case, if you have someone that you love and someone else did something to them, good, bad, or indifferent, whether they were wrong or right, you're gonna always first side with the person that you love. You know what I mean? Meaning, that's just like if I did something wrong, my mom gonna side with me first until I explain to her what goes on. You know what I'm saying? Just as you would.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Until I explain what happens. I mean, and then you still gonna side with me, but I'm gonna hear, you was wrong. You shouldn't have did. Why would you do that? What was on your mind? What would make you do? You know what I mean? You're gonna hear all of that, but like as an example, they're just gonna side with with who they love first.
Exactly, because here's the thing. When it comes to your child, you don't want your child hurt. You don't want your child going through things. Of course, it's a normal life for your child to go through things, but you don't want your child to go through things. A good example of that is that before I met his mother, we were getting engaged. And one of the things I said to him is that I need to sit down and have a conversation with your mother because I understand where she's coming from. She didn't know me from Adam. And here you go talking about, and yes, you are grown. But here you go talking about you getting married and blah, blah, blah. And for your third time, that could be a problem because that's how I feel about my son.
Mom said there's a different type of mama's boy. Did you read that one already?
There's a different type of mama's boy. Now there are this relationship where the mother wants to be the first in the son's life and the wife can go sit down. So exactly. That's the negative mama's
right,
boy.
But that comes from the young man always going to his mother with whatever is going on in his relationship.
And the fact that maybe he's the only child, and there's some others
other different factors and stuff like that. But I feel like if you keep your mouth shut and keep what's going on between you and your wife, your front door won't be graced with that negativity of everybody else, whether everybody else means your family or friends. Because at the end of the day, when the night falls, I gotta lay down with you.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta wake up with me.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that other stuff, aside from the way we live ours, that has no place here.
Mm-hmm.
That has no place here, and I'm not gonna deal with it.
And Mom said a good thing, and that goes both ways, not just with men but women too. She said when the mother-in-law become the outlaw, it is because she did not know her place, and the son is scared to put her in place, or the daughter, because
that's a fact.
Women do it.
That's
Women
a
are
fact.
good for
That is a fact, Mom. That's a good fact right there. That I didn't even think of that. But you know what? It's a lot of cases like that where, sometimes the brother gotta say, hey Mom, listen, look.
And women too, because women are good
not for
that.
nothing, and I'm not being disrespectful, but this is my thing. Let me do my thing. If I tend to bump my head, if I come over here, just give me a bandage. But let me get back in the game and bump my head again. I want you to, kick back. I don't need you to, I don't need you to take me by the hand and show me the way.
Mom said, no, that's how she groomed him, Frank. I don't get it because Mama was not like that.
No, you wasn't like that, Mom. You know what? You was hard. And I don't. No.
She's talking about you again.
Zardy, what's good, my bro?
Hey, brother.
Mom, when I said you was hard, I meant in the way that you made me and my brothers grow into manhood. You made us. How can I say it, man? You made us tap into the men that we are. You made us tap into that because you always taught us that, you don't disrespect a woman. You don't call women out of their name. You don't curse at women. You don't use those letter words. And even if, she is a little over the top or whatever, you still maintain your dignity and what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because she cursed at me or wild out on me, that don't mean I gotta slap her or whatever. I got sisters I could go get. But they ain't want that smoke, so it was a different, you know what I'm saying? It was I'm just saying.
You're going in left field.
No, I gotta be honest about what I'm saying. So I'm saying that to say this. Even with someone cursing at you and calling you out your name and stuff like that, you will get on the offensive and want to go back at them. But at the same time, if you maintain your self-respect and your dignity, they're going to look like a fool from a person that's looking from down the street. You understand? A person from down the street see two people arguing, he just look at two fools. But if he see one person that they going all crazy and the other person is there and they, they're being calm and collective about it, they're going to point and say, that person, I don't know what's going on, but he bugging for no reason. He wilding out. Dude ain't even, you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just a way that it's just a way that you have to deal with a situation. You just have to learn how to not always be so combative about, certain things. You should be able to talk to someone. And I understand what Sis was saying too, that, everybody can't open up and talk,
and that's exactly, Kiana just said, she guided you guys into the men you are. Exactly, because she guided y'all. But there are people out here who did not get guided the right way. Either they did not have that in their life, or that the way they were guided was not the right way. Valley said, you take the high road, bro. You are a king.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate that.
Yes, and that's why I said you're different, baby, because you are a king. But there are men out here who did not have their fathers in their life, or might not have had the mother strong enough to guide them in the right way, or they saw something different. And because they saw it different, that's how they, reacted to it the way they saw it. They didn't have that. That's what you had,
right? And that's understandable. But I mean, too, at some point, an individual is an individual, and you have to know some. I can't sit here and just let that fact just pass over. That you just gonna be like that. That one day it doesn't snap into your mind where you get a moment, you get an aha moment, like aha, or a light comes on or something that says, yo, that's not the way to be.
Mom said, first of all, the mother's place is to listen. If you tell me that I may have a different opinion of your wife, it's is duty of a good mother to mind her business. It is, but after a while, you mind your business, but that's still your child. And after your child getting hurt so many times, it's like, okay, you know what? You do form an opinion. You might not say it to them, but you do form an opinion. Like, you know what?
You will form an opinion, but then what happens in that case is this. You know your child, you love your child, but until enough is enough, they got to keep banging their head.
Exactly. But that's also why I said that it's
head.
not good to take everything too. Because once if you take everything that happens in your relationship outside to another person,
right,
that person can't help but to form an opinion because you're taking it to them.
Right.
And you might be okay after a while, you done made up. But that person still has in their head, exactly of what you took to them.
Right, and that's exactly what I said earlier. You can't, and once they form that opinion, that opinion is what's lasting, and that person will never be able to stand in front of the person that formed that opinion and change that opinion.
Now, Valerie, I'm going to say this. You have grown a lot. Valerie said, I'm guilty because of if a man disrespects my children, I'm right up in it. You used to be. But I think that you have grown, Valerie, and you have learned that because you said something to me last night that showed that, your kids are grown. And if they chose somebody who you didn't necessarily think you're right, you would have to deal with that because you have grown and understand that they have to learn for themselves.
Yeah.
Keanu said, our family had a lot of strong women who pulled together to help our young men to be the men they are to be the men they are today without the man being in our children's life. And you know what? We went through that, and that's what me and my sister were talking about, because our children didn't really have a good respect for men because it was the women that reared them and showed them strength and everything. So they was very standoffish when it comes to men, or untrustworthy because they didn't see the men being the strong in their life. They saw their upbringing. They saw the women being the strong women in their life, but not the men. But that's because we saw my mother being strong, and we just automatically assumed that that's how it was supposed to be. We automatically assume that role that we're going to take charge because that's what we're supposed to do because of what we saw of our upbringing. Kia said there is a benefit for many people to not change or grow. Growth takes work, and the familiar is comfortable for many. Oh, so true. How you are raised is your familiar, and examining that and growing or changing takes intention. Ooh, yes, niece, that's so true. It will not often come from a aha moment. My niece is so smart, isn't she? That is so true. I agree with that 100%. That it takes work to change.
It does take work to change. But what I meant by that, Kia, was, it does take work to change, but is there a point in your life where something says, hey, that's not right?
Valerie said,
when do you, go ahead.
Valerie said, I have grown, but if they hurt my daughters, take the wheel, Lord. But Mom said, no. I said, if you tell me that, then that means proceed with caution. Because once I form the opinion, it is that from that point on. So my children knew it.
And that's the truth. And that's what I said earlier. Once you form an opinion, it is very hard for the person that is being the opinionee to be, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for that person to come. Once you form an opinion about a person, If that person comes before you, it's hard for you to listen to what they say and all of
because
that
you already got
because
your
your
opinion.
opinion is already formed. It's already formed, and you're not trying to look back because everything that you're thinking about is what they did wrong to your child.
Sally said, or the man is attracted to your strength and wants you to take care of him. And there are men who,
men that do that too.
That's they like that you doing everything and they can sit back and not do nothing and be whips. Keon said, I've learned as a mother to stay in my place when it comes to my children's relationship with their spouse. If they come to me and talk about, that's one thing. My job is to listen and give advice.
That's it. That's all you can do. And that's all you should do.
And you know what? Here's what I do about it. I just don't ask no questions. Because I just want to know about my grandkids. Because that way I ain't got to worry about it. It's like, what y'all go through, y'all go through. Long as, you don't put your hands on my child.
Mom is crazy. Mom said, yeah, Val.
Just tell me about my grandkids.
There's a name to a man like that. Excuse the typo.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'm very, I don't ask questions. When they go through this, like, how's my grandchild, blah, blah, blah. And I try not, as long as there's no hands on, I prefer to stay out of it because I can go from 0 to 100. So I try to stay out of it. Mom said, Kiana, true, Nisi.
I said the name is homosexual. Hobo? What?
Valerie said the name is hobosexual. You
know what?
You know what? You made that up. But I understand it. I ain't saying you're wrong. I understand what you're saying.
What?
Hobosexual. That's word
harsh.
for it. What is that? Even that's a whole bunch of stuff.
That's a whole lot of other.
Yeah, a whole lot of stuff rolled up
over there on that side.
But I think that to sum this all up, your upbringing has a lot to do with the lessons you learned about love. I think we all agree that your upbringing is what
teaches you how to love, I guess.
Yeah,
or shows you how to love, or gives you an idea of what love is.
Because what's ironic is that we were going to say, where did you learn about love? And Valerie said that everybody would go to their first girlfriends or something like that, which everybody did. But then if you phrase it differently and say, what did your upbringing teach you about love? Then you'll understand where you really learned about love from. Valerie said, no, I did a music video with the girl that coined the title. It's a real thing. Homosexual? What's the definition? Keanu said, I thank God for saving me, but if you mess with me and mine, I will lose my religion. And I think we all agree on that. Mom says sometimes a parent has to be a sounding board and to just listen. And Valerie, exactly. I agree.
Mom always was a good listener. She did, say what she needed to say too, and give you some excellent sound advice also. So with that being said,
we was on for one night. These titles be flying by them this time because we get really deep with. I appreciate the response to this.
We may have to stretch our Hatchett Chronicle time out instead of an hour because
We
it
never
seems
get
like
done
as
in
soon
an
as
hour.
we get into the conversation,
It's time to
it's about
end.
30 minutes in because I guess that's because people start to join late.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta allow
Time for people to join.
People to join the room. So with that being said, you guys, we appreciate
so before we go, I wanted to say that next week are you ready or prepared to hit on the subject of depression or mental illness, or you want to wait?
That's fine. I don't care. Whatever. That's fine.
So
look at mom facts.
What you say? She can't be cool.
Mom always been cool. She's been cooler than me.
So with that being said, maybe as I said in the beginning of this, last week we weren't on because I was going through some issues with depression. We need to touch on that. I don't know whether we're going to do that next week or not. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll just say depression, dealing with the mate that has depression.
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out. If anyone has any topics they would like to implement, feel free to IM us or text us if you have our number or whatever to let us know.
Leave it in the messenger.
Yeah, we'd be interested in any topics that you guys would like us to.
And if you're on YouTube watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Please go to YouTube and subscribe and like,
comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So this way, you'll be alerted every time we drop a new video. So.
And if you're on Facebook, like and share. Like and share. Homosexual, a person who uses their sexual pros to establish a place to live. LOL. Go on YouTube and look up Homosexual, the movie by Kula. Oh, okay.
Mom said what?
Family nice turnout. Hope to see you next Sunday.
Oh.
Yes. Just to reiterate some things, look out for my sister Valerie. She is just doing stuff. I can't even keep up with all things that she be doing. Because see, this is something new. I didn't know she was involved with that. But anyway, she got the Ladies of the Book Club web series. She's got both her books, the Book Club 1 and the Book Club 2, Calvary's Turn. She's the head of our anthology, Corona Chronicles. I have a chapter in that. We're along with 15 other authors, and she's heading that up. Look out for that soon. Generational Words and Eyes of the Heart film, her and her daughters, that's their company. My book, The Power of God, is out. $15 and $3 shipping and handling. Then I'm writing Life After Bent Knees. That's coming soon. The book I'm co-writing with my husband, From My Rib. Look out for that. That's coming out soon. I want to throw something at you guys. So our book, From My Rib, is coming out. And I wanted to do a promotion on it we wrote that book with 10 words of our relationship in life, like God, family, trust, love, truth, all that. And so how I was going to promote the book is I was going to use every subject, every word on a different Hatchett Chronicles for 10 Sundays. If y'all would be interested in hearing that, let me know. Reach out to us. Because I'd like to know how that would work out. If y'all would like us to do that, to lead up to the book, to talk about each subject, like a subject of God, subject of love, subject of trust, subject of truth. Let me know.
Well, thank you, Kia. I'm glad we can inspire you, niece. You know that I love you.
I am writing a book dealing with this very topic and more. You all have inspired me to write today. Oh, Niecy.
Go ahead and pick up that pen, that crayon, that
You know
Sharpie,
what?
that.
You know what? That's all right.
My bad. I fell into my paint and sip vibe. I'm sorry.
Also, if you guys listen to on Tuesdays, DJ Get Loose here because you might want some music to help inspire you. What else we got going on? Oh, I help small. If you are thinking about starting a business but don't know where to start, or you got questions like I don't have the. What if I don't have a capital? Do I need a business plan? What's the EIN? I am me. I am my husband. Get the message to me if you have my number, because that's what I do. So I'm going back into that to help people start their business. So
and
reach out to me.
My niece Kia has a book there's a book about relationships called While I Waited. Is that it? Am I seeing right?
Yep. While I Waited.
Okay.
Yeah, look out for it. Her name is Kia Reed. That's
Kia, you could type in the comments on where they could go to get the book, babe. Or Val, you could type it in so they could know where to get the book, or where to log on to, or and I'm pretty sure it's a great read. So with that being said, you guys,
thank you.
We enjoyed you too, cuz I love you. It's been a long time. Geez, I used to go to the store and get cigarettes for my auntie. We definitely appreciate everybody for joining in. We it's in the process. Okay.
So look out for While I Waited.
Kiana said, I want to start my own daycare and cleaning business.
You know what? I am me, and I'll send you my number. I am me to remind me to send you my number, and we call me. We'll definitely talk about it. I can help you. Where's Kiana? She's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a blessed night. Who's calling you, cuz? I don't know. Ain't nobody calling me right now. Unless you heard a phone ring that we didn't hear.
But yeah, definitely, Kiana. I am me, or I am Frank, just to remind me that we have to that I need to send you my number, and I'll send you my number, and we can talk about it. I can help you with that. My brother, I love my brothers. Whatever. You're so jealous.
I ain't jealous.
Just because you're a 1, you're level 1.
I them jokers.
He bumped his head.
I ain't bumped my head.
Cause she said, "Who you calling cuz?"
I caught on to that. I caught on to that. That's why I said auntie. I got you. I caught on to that. She said I was your aunt at one time, Frank. I know. I know. I apologize. I apologize. She still is. I know, Mom. You know what? Y'all ain't gonna get on here and correct me on my show.
Yes, they are. They already did.
See what I had to go through coming up? See, that's what I dealt with as a kid. No. But that's respect right there. That's what that is.
Put some respect on it.
Put some respect on her name. Well, It's that time.
Do you want to?
We say goodbye now. We thank you.
Put in any plugs or anything?
No. I'm good.
Look out for his show on Tuesday.
Look out for my show on Tuesday, man. Tuesday night from 8 to 9. From 8 to 9. Live DJ set. It's going to be called, I'm doing Grown Folks Tuesday. So the music I'm playing is grown folks music. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. So with that being said, thanks, y'all. We appreciate every comment,
we love
every
you guys.
person that tuned in, everyone that supports,
so
and all of that. I thank you, and that's it for me.
This is the Hatchett Chronicles,
and we are out. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Good night. God bless.